Welcome back to our channel. I am Precious Kisses, and this is my son, Akai. And today we are going to give you our best tips to get this massive hair growth in a smaller amount of time. So I am currently on a longer hair length journey, and he wants to reach longer lengths as well. And with this today, we are going to give you our best tips of how to grow and retain your hair. So follow.
Now let's get right into it. I would say the first thing is make sure your nails are in good shape with no snags or anything like that. It's going to break off the hair. Number two would be always assess your scalp. Here I'm actually checking to see if he has any abrasions or any scalp irritations or anything like that I need to be aware of. I did note that right here on the side he does have a scar, but he's a boy and that's what he does. Number three is huge. Check your hair for breakage. I noticed in the crown of his head, he actually has a lot of breakage. His hair is maybe 8 inches right here, where it is maybe 20 inches in other areas. So there's a lot of breakage. Look at that. So I'm looking at that as well as, where it's located and what the issues. Knots, I take my time. That would be number four. Take your time and dislodge knots. As you can see, I can just kind of pull it apart using a little finger manipulation, and I am able to get the knot out rather easily. And I went throughout his entire head and was able to get all of these knots out. I have now traveled to the back of his head, and I am just quickly assessing everything. Again, you all who are new here, go ahead and like the video as well as subscribe, as I give amazing tips on hair growth, and we can go on this journey together of growing longer lengths. Okay, I am getting seriously into his hair now, so I always section his hair into my hair, whoever's hair, into 4 sections so that I can better see what's going on. Because we are going to shampoo his hair, my main thing right now is to detangle as much as possible before we get under any running water, because I do not want his hair to mat up again. So I take a little time and I spray it with water, and I always detangle on damp or wet hair. Something with a lot of slip is something I use every time, just to make sure I get all of the tangles out. And I basically am spraying with water and parting with my fingers. I use no combs right here, and I detangle with my fingers. It is so important. You can feel if there's damage by sliding down those strands, y'all. So this is a very important step for us. We do not skip this step, and it does not take much time at all to make this happen. So again, this is me just kind of pulling through with my fingers, making sure I get the roots, because that's why I know that most people have their tangles. So that's exactly what I'm doing here. And then I twist it up and out of the way. Stay as organized as possible on hair days. So this should be a day that you take for you and your hair, okay?
So we have finished detangling his hair, and so basically you see how I did it. I basically part with my fingers, spray some water, and then I added the melanin. We're going to start with moisturized hair so it can be juicy and plump, and we're going to finish with moisturized hair. And I basically just pull through it. And with that, this is how much hair we got out, which is nothing, okay? So we hand detangle before we wash. Also, I believe in detangling in sections. Excuse me, baby. So we have 4 sections. We have one here, and then we have the 2 in the back. You see how thick and juicy those are, although his hair is still a little dry, and you will see that it will come out really good. So we're going to go ahead and get into our wash process, and we're going to be doing it with Carol's Daughters, the Cocoa Cream line, and we have the Curl Pinching Shampoo and the Curl Pinching Conditioner. We'll be back after we get that done.
I made sure not to bother you with the washing, but I wanted you to see me do his hair now. I literally am taking out time because I noticed I cannot comb through his hair. He does have some damage from the matting, and I noticed that I couldn't pull my fingers through it and I couldn't comb through it. So it is time for a quick trim. He did not want to lose much hair, so I'm just assessing what I can trim without him losing so much length. Right here, that's about 8 inches right there, but it's see-through and it needs to come off. So in this portion, I'm actually going to go ahead and trim off about 6 to 8 inches in the front. In the back, I only was trimming off about 4 inches, okay? So it is important, if we're going to start a journey today, don't hesitate. Go ahead and trim some of those ends. Even if you have to trim some now, some later, trust me, it is well worth the growth in the end. We do not want the split ends and the damaged ends to split up the entire length of the hair, okay? So I went ahead and trimmed it, okay? This is his hair fully trimmed, and my hands are sliding through it a lot easy. As you can see, he is still at his tailbone, so he still has length. Now, this is important as well. This is a huge tip. When you are styling your hair, or for me, protecting styling your hair, and this is a protective style for him, make sure your parts are crisp, because if they are not, it will become tangled, and later on you will hate yourself when you're taking it down. So I make sure his parts are crisp, and anytime I do any hair, I make sure I take that time. I am adding my whipped shea to his hair because I want to make sure his hair is soft. I want to coat his strands, and I want to seal in all moisture, which is why we used Carol's Daughter moisture quenching shampoo and conditioner. Another tip for us is we always deep condition, okay? Always. For you who have braided your hair or get your hair braided, if you notice here, he doesn't flinch because I do not braid where I'm pulling his hair tight so it's hurting him. That is going to damage your hair, your scalp, your strands. Try to get someone who is understanding that you should not be in pain to get fresh, crisp looking braids. Whether you're twisting your hair or braiding your hair, it is important to not pull it too tight. It is important not to cause too much stress or strain on the hair. I am not going to take you through my entire braiding process, but I did want to make sure I stressed how important it is to make sure those parts are crisp, to make sure you're respecting the strands in your scalp all the way down to your nape, and not catching those what I like to call BDBs, but you can still get an amazing look, even in protective style. Now, this is a protective style for him. He will rock these braids probably for 2 weeks. As you see here, I'm adding whipped shea to the back of my hand because as I braid down the length of his hair, I always add the butter to his hair. I want to make sure it's moisturized. I want to make sure it's smooth. I actually added and mixed in a bit of extra oil to this. I can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So I'm just going to add the shea butter down the length of his hair as I braid it. Now is the perfect time to say that you do not have to give up style to be in a protective style. This is a prime example. If he were a girl, I could still rock some really nice cornrows, whether you're going to have it done or whether you have someone you know do it for you. You can still get amazing styles. You can add extensions. Here's a pro tip for you. If you're adding extensions to your hair, make sure the extensions is enough to cover your hair and kind of tuck your hair into the extensions so that it is an amazing protective style and your hair is not open to the elements, okay? So that is an amazing thing for you. I actually do that. Even though I have very long hair at this time, I have very fine hair, and it's important to me to protect my strands. So when I do extensions or cornrows, I do add enough of the weave to cover my strands and kind of burrow my strands down into it. So that's another pro tip. So he's getting his hair styled because, you know, he's a basketball player, and this is one thing that they're known for. My sons are known for the really cute styles during the basketball season. So I'm freaking out these braids real quick. I'm not going to bore you with all of this right here, so I'm going to skip past it. You do note that I am still adding that shea and braiding it as I go. So I've got a lot of questions about the oils that I use, the Ayurvedic oils that I use. And as you can see here, I have bottled the oil that I use. I've made enough to sell. So I'm excited about that. If you want to know more about the oils or anything like that, I'll be happy to reach out to you all. Send me a message, send me an email on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me everywhere. So right here, what you're seeing is I did spray the back of his hair down with water, and then I'm going in with the melanin leave-in as always, and then I add shea butter, which I'm doing right now, and that is again my Ayurvedic shea butter. It's Ayurvedic whipped shea butter, and I add it to his hair. It's like the lock method where I'm adding water, I'm adding a cream, and then I'm adding an oil to seal it all in. And he did not give up style for protection. He didn't give up style for protection. At the ends of his hair, I do something every time. I always sealed his hair ends after sealing it. I add just a little bit of gel to the ends of his hair. It makes it a little bit stronger and stops the breakage right there. I do this every time. If you've ever seen any of the Takeover Tuesday braiding videos, this is something that I do. I'm going to let you look at the style really quickly. Braids are nice and neat, and he still has a style. So I think that's amazing. He is happy with his style. I am as well, and we are going to continue growing. I hope these tips helped you here. Please go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, share. I am here for all of it, where we look into healthy body, hair, mind, and soul. In the meantime, I will see you in between time. Bye. Wait, did I say cue the music? Cue the music.